What does the future of Google search mean for your HVAC business? That's what we're going to explore today. As you probably already know, Google unveiled on May 19th its first really fundamental and revolutionary change to Google search as you came to know and love it over the last 25 years. So we've now introduced AI mode. And so all of a sudden, Google is looking a lot more like the experience you've probably been having in ChatGPT or Claude. And what that means is that it enables people to ask more detailed queries, have more of a conversational approach with Google, like they've been having with ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Perplexity, and what have you. And this is, of course, Google's competitive response to losing search and losing visibility to the large language models. And so what does this mean for your HVAC business? This is what happened when someone typed in HVAC company near me. You had your local service ads at the very top. Then you had one or two Google pay-per-click ads. And of course, people could scroll through this accordion and get a whole lot of options. Most people didn't go down that far, right? And so what it meant was very quickly, you were already at Google Maps. And so we as digital marketing agencies and you as HVAC business owners have spent a lot of time investing in your Google business profile. Now, that is not all for naught, so you don't need to worry. But what that means is that that's not necessarily what's happening now. So again, it used to be local service ads followed by a little teaser of pay-per-click. You had a sponsored ad at the top of the maps, and then you had those businesses with wonderful reviews that were truly nearby, right? I'm based in Washington, D.C., so this is what I see when I type in HVAC company near me. And then, of course, Yelp is always usually Yelp and Angie's or Nest because they're aggregators and have the highest authority. And then you get down to the search engine results. Okay, so very few people really were getting a lot of clicks from this local all the way down onto their website. So people were already going to their Google business profile. So already Google had consolidated into its own authority a lot of that search traffic. People weren't going to your website. But what this means is we're moving more towards what people are starting to call a zero-click future. So let's take a look at what this looks like, right? And so if I go here, what's on your mind, and I go into AI mode, I can ask questions in a way that is more conversational. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so here, when I was in the standard search bar that we've known for years, this is what I got when I did HVAC company near me. Now, if I'm having a conversation, I'm really looking for a recommendation. So that's how people use LLMs, right? They use ChatGPT and Claude and so on when they really want an opinion. And PS, people really value the opinions that they get from AI. It's been very interesting to me how much credibility that carries for people psychologically, much more so than what they see on Google. They just sort of perceive that as an unfiltered and aggregated point of view on what the best is, right? Okay, so now I've gone best HVAC companies in Washington, D.C., but I've done it in AI mode. So again, it still knows where my location is, but it's sourced different ones. And I'm pleased to report this is our client. But let's look at, with 222 reviews, right? There's a lot of HVAC companies that have a heck of a lot more reviews than them. 1,200, 5,300, 18,000, a very stellar 222 reviews and a 4.9 rating, but by no means, 10,000 or more reviews. Why did it source them first, right? Well, look at this. What AI mode really cares about is independent, outside of Google citations or social signals. What that means is, what are people saying about this business elsewhere, right? And so it wants to crowdsource that good point of view. So here we have Consumer Affairs, very credible website that has listed the best HVAC companies in Washington, D.C. And Google is just fully pulling in from that in the most literal possible way. Again, who comes up next? Someone who's praised highly on Reddit. Again, Reddit is really, really important for this new search world. And here we have Angie's, okay? So what this is telling us, and again, more Consumer Affairs. What this is telling us is your business favorably viewed, not just in your Google reviews, which a lot of you have been really investing into your credit for many years, but in other places as well, right? On Reddit, on Angie's, on Thumbtack, on Yelp. These are all going to be coming in, okay? So that's one thing to really ask yourself. And again, if you're advertising on multiple platforms, then that's going to happen naturally, right? Let's look at another use for how people are using this. This is in the same way that I was going on vacation. I said, hey, I want to plan my vacation to Disney World. What do you recommend? Right here, I'm having a conversation with AI, and it's more personalized, right? I'm telling them exactly what I, Sarah Gonzales, want. So let me just put myself in this position. I'm in Atlanta and I need to repair my train air conditioner. Who should I call? Right? Look, I used all lowercase. It's like I'm sending a text to a friend. Okay. So again, let's see what came up. And here we have reliable with 12,000 reviews. Oh, and number 2, we have Indoor Experts, our client, with 103 reviews. Again, stellar, but by no means 12,000. And Atlanta's a very competitive market. So what did we do? Well, they're a train dealer. And so for a long time, we've been investing in a lot of content on their website and also making sure that they got listed in this train directory and elsewhere related to train. So Here they have a blog, top trained dealers in Atlanta, expert HVAC services, okay? So they're posting about Train on social media. And guess what? All of this is just things that are within their control, right? So we didn't, we have done press releases for them and we've got them guest blog posts, but all of this is entirely within their control. What's interesting is that if you want to be well known for a quality, in other words, you want to be known as the best carrier dealer in your area, or you want to be known for your 24/7 services, or you want to be known that you're NATE certified, you can put that on your website. You can put that on your social media. You can send out a press release about something. You can even, what's so bananas to me is that you can actually write things on your website. Look at this. Top trained dealers in Atlanta. We are literally having exactly those words that we are telling. And guess what? Then we also need to do an honest review of other trained dealers, because that is the intent. People are looking for not just one dealer, but multiple. But we've just put a page on this website that gets us listed at the very top in one of the most competitive markets in the country. So the point is, if you start to reverse engineer what qualities you want to be known for, not just 5 stars, not just in business 30 years, but really very specific, not owned by private equity, 40 years experience of the owner, woman owned, family owned, 0% financing through Wells Fargo, whatever it is. You really want to be very specific in what you can offer, okay? The other thing I want to show you is people are really looking on price. So the more transparent you can be on price and answering that question of how much things cost, that is the number one way that you can start getting more visibility on AI searches like this. Okay, because bear in mind, people are always so shy to put their prices on their website. Sure, they'll say 10% veterans discount or $500 off your install, but put your prices in great detail on your website. How much is this going to cost? How much is it going to cost for a heat pump? What are the local tax credits? What are the state level tax credits? What are the factors that could make this heat pump installation more expensive or less expensive? What kind of discounts do you have? What kind of financing do you have? Right? So building those numbers in, right? We're beyond the phase where we're talking about, I may have searched for affordable heat pump installation in Massachusetts, but Google understands that when I start to say affordable, what I really want is to talk about price, and I really want some numbers. So the more numbers you have on your website, the more specific numbers related to price, and the more you go into the nitty gritty of how much financing costs, what are local credits you have, what's happened since the federal tax credits in 2025 expired for heat pumps. The more information you can have about that, the more likely you will come up, not just in your city, but on a regional or state level, because people just aren't doing that. And look at this here. Affordable heat pump installation in Massachusetts. And here's the videos that came up. So if you can also be doing videos, one of the number one sources for AI citations is actually videos. YouTube has incredible weight with ChatGPT, with Claude, and also with Gemini 3.0. Shooting videos just like I am. It doesn't have to be fancy. Stand in front of an AC outside and talk for 5 minutes. You are an expert, and if you can post those videos, make sure you have a transcript, and each video answer a question. You can really start to rank for these, because most HVAC companies aren't doing it. So search is changing. Yes, backlinks are important. Your website is very important, but you really need to think about, how is this information being sourced in a zero-click world? If no one ever goes to my website, how are they still finding me? And the answer is making sure you have favorable citations, not just on Google, but a lot of places. Making sure people understand exactly what your differentiators are, what makes you special, what services do you offer. Getting really, really specific with your pricing and how much things are going to cost. What's it going to be like on installation day? Take me through that process. If you can do all that, you're going to be way ahead of your competitors. And by the way, the more you can add pricing calculators and estimators, these are pretty easy to create in Claude Code right now. The more you can do that, again, Google loves those kind of estimators that are interactive. People love something interactive, and that plays really, really well on this. So there'll be more on this later, but I just wanted to give everyone a hot take, because I know people are really wondering, what the heck does this mean for my business, going from this, which I've structured my business around for the last decade, to this. Okay, feel free to book a strategy session. I love to talk to people about what this means for them and to give you some tips. You can find that link below. Thanks so much.